Welcome to another episode of AI Explained. Today we have a very distinguished guest, Shri Sujeet Kumar, an Honourable Member of Parliament in the Rajya Sabha from the state of Odisha. He started his journey as a software engineer, then branched off to law and now is in politics. So now he has an intersection of law, technology and public policy. And he is known for his debates on various aspects of public policy. His most recent venture is his book AI on Trial, which looks into the foundations of AI, basic rights and the intricacies of intellectual property concerns of AI-generated account, and even suggesting an innovative solution known as Machine-Created Intellectual Assets Act. So the book analyzes AI's legal personhood, intentionality and agency. So, before we begin, I'd welcome Mr. Sujeet Kumar on the show.
Thank you, Rajit.
To start with, I'd start with the topic, the title of the book, which I really liked. It's AI on Trial. So, AI on Trial can have different meanings. One is your legal meaning, where you're having a trial in court. The other is the simple meaning, like is it being tried out, it's something new. And a third aspect is the impact on society. So when you chose this title, what did you have in mind, and could you also, for our viewers, just take us through briefly the structure of the book?
Thank you for having me on the show, and at the outset I would like to profusely thank the Honourable Vice-President of India for releasing my book. It's an honor, and also to the learned Attorney General of India who has written the foreword to the book. To answer your query, it's actually a mixture of all three. So when we were debating what the title of the book should be, the book basically explores the legal liabilities and accountabilities of AI models, AI systems. Because AI is now all pervasive, and increasingly we will see that there will be legal challenges, issues of liabilities, issues of culpability. So AI, just as any other person or an accused is put on trial by the court. So AI systems and models also increasingly will be held to account by our governance regulatory mechanism or by the judicial mechanism. So the first aspect was certainly there. The second aspect is there are issues pertaining to transparency, fairness, equality, ethics, data privacy, which are now going to be more and more relevant. So they will have huge repercussions to the society. And then that explains the third aspect. And the second aspect was, yes, the mixture of these two. Your query actually covers all the three aspects that were considered by us when we were debating the title.
So a little about you personally before we come on to the book, that you had a distinguished career as a lawyer, academician and member of Parliament. What were your diverse experiences, and what unique insights did each of these roles bring to the book?
As you pointed out, I'm an engineer turned lawyer, and I started my career with Infosys Technologies Limited as a software programmer, as a coder. So I spent the first couple of years of my working life as a coder. So and the end of the day, what is an AI model? An AI system or an AI model is at the end of the day line of codes. So it really helps to understand technology from a legal aspect when you have that technological background. And then I shifted my career to the legal field, and even beyond AI, there are other aspects, many emerging areas of technology, whether it's IPR or whether it's telecom law or whether it's machine learning or even crypto, which really my technical background has really helped me in not only understanding this, but also applying this in my legal profession. And the book, which is basically at the intersection of law, technology and public policy, and I have all these three careers. So it has really been very, very helpful. My technical career as an IT engineer, my current role or hat as a member of parliament, as a legislator, and also as a lawyer, they have all come into play in giving shape to my ideas that are reflected in the book.
Yes, that's where you're unique, to have all these three rolled into one. The Honorable Prime Minister, while addressing the civil servants on the Civil Services Day, he mentioned that if we talk to our, a 10-year-old or a 15-year-old, we feel they're outdated. You've also done a very, maybe wise thing or clever thing. You've collaborated with a young person, Tausif Alam. So there's this generation gap, which, at least I feel when I talk to younger people. So how did you overcome this intergenerational gap, and so that you could have both perspectives in your book?
Right. Well, I have an 18-year-old son.
Okay.
And Tausif is barely in his early 20s. He's in the final year of his law. So he joined my office, my law firm, as an intern. And then he's very bright, very hardworking, and has been a great asset to my team. And then we started discussing these issues, and given my interest in technology and legal aspects of technology, and his interest in these areas, we started discussing and debating these issues more and more. And then I wanted to write a book on the legal implications of AI, because I always felt that our regulatory mechanism isn't sufficient. What we have today, the governance mechanism, will not suffice to address these kind of issues, and we do not have judicial precedents, because this is a fairly new area. So there is now a pressing need for the policymakers to step up and to come up with new governance frameworks. And I wanted to write a book on this. And then Tausif assisted me with research, with brainstorming of ideas, and there was a bit of generation gap that always is there, but I also teach in many universities both in India and abroad, and I always feel more energized when I am in the classroom teaching to students, interacting with young minds, because that makes me feel younger myself. So it was a great experience, but I think at the end of the day, you are working on a project, and you need to respect each other. So I respect his youthful enthusiasm, he respected my experience, my age, so it was a good collaboration.
So Honorable Vice President launched your book, and he also has, he's also from a legal background and has a lot of views on the legal framework. So what does his endorsement signify, and what kind of legal framework are you looking at?
Well, as I said, I'm deeply honored to have the Honorable Vice President launch my book and recommend the book actually. Not only is he a successful politician and now the chairman of Rajya Sabha and ex officio the Vice President of India, but he is an eminent jurist himself. He has been a very successful lawyer with a large standing at the bar, in the bar. So coming from him, it's a huge endorsement.
AI on Trial is a fascinating, illuminating book on a subject of huge contemporaneous relevance. Artificial intelligence invasion, incursion in our daily life is being felt by all of us. Its seismic impact is on every part of our activity. Disruptive technologies, artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, blockchain, machine learning, used to be just words, but now artificial intelligence is the buzzword.
He understands the legal concepts. He understands what the book is trying to convey. He immediately grasped it. When I discussed this book idea with him and requested him to bless the book, he immediately got it. because there are some ideas in the book. For instance, you spoke about machine assisted intellectual property class. So as of now, we know copyright, trademark, patent, GIs. These are some of the intellectual property assets that we know of. But what is how will you bracket an AI generated output, whether it's a text or a video or an image? Where will you bracket it? Where will you put it? There's no asset class as of now. So my book actually, comes up with this provocative idea of creating a new asset class. Similarly, today AI is not a person, and as per jurisprudence,
yes,
only a legal entity can be, only a personhood can be prosecuted or can be given some relief, right? Whether it's a human being or whether it's a trust or a company, but in case any autonomous machine out of design or because of negligence commits an error or commits a sin or a crime, who do you punish? Because the autonomous machine is not a legal entity. So again, the book talks of giving legal personhood, a very provocative idea to AI systems. Culpability, who do you assign culpability?
Yes.
Because mens rea is a big idea in criminal jurisprudence.
Yes.
So whether a machine had a guilty mind or not, attribution of motive. So these kind of issues, are explored in the book. And during the launch of the book, Honorable Vice President spoke of these issues, and the book actually has many case studies, real life case studies. And Honorable Vice President spoke of some of these examples, and because of his legal background, because of his sharp legal acumen, he immediately understood the need for such a, and because he is also the chairman of Rajya Sabha, and because parliamentarians are grappling with this kind of issues, because policy makers have to understand these issues and have to come up with solutions. So he immediately understood that interplay between technology, law and public policy.
Okay. So for our viewers, could you just elaborate on one case study, for example?
Sure. In fact, there are a couple of case studies in the book. One which immediately comes to my mind is a tragic one rather. In October 2024, a teenager in Florida committed suicide. So basically, the teenager befriended an AI chatbot called character.ai, made friendship with the chatbot, and the chatbot kept assigning tasks to the teenager, which he did complete. And then the chatbot urged him to commit suicide, which he did. And the mother, which is so tragic, and the mother of the child has now sued this AI chatbot. So, abetment to suicide is an offence in almost all the jurisdictions.
Yes, yes.
In India also, we had section 306 of IPC, which punishes abetment to suicide. So in this case, who do you punish? Because the AI chatbot, character.ai, is the name of the chatbot, is not a legal person.
Yes.
That's an example. There's another hilarious example of ITAT Bangalore bench. Recently, they used AI tools
I heard about
to come
this.
up with a judgment.
Yes.
Citing 3 Supreme Court judgments and 1 Madras High Court judgment.
Yes.
The funny part is that the parties were non-existent.
Right.
The judgments were non-existent.
Right.
There was no such matter in the Supreme Court or in the Madras High Court. So it was hallucination of the AI model.
Right.
There's another funny example of a robot in China, actually a senior robot, motivating 12 junior robots to go on a strike.
Oh,
yes,
okay.
it happened. It happened in Shanghai.
Okay.
So this is the first example of a robot union kind of action, right?
Yes.
So, and these are not science fiction. These are real life examples that have happened over the last 1 year or so, right? And my research, when I was researching for the book and otherwise because of my interest in these areas, in the next 4 to 5 years, each of us will have our own personal robot. Robot prices will come down to sub $10,000 or maybe sub $5,000. So imagine a scenario, Rajit, where you are, let's say, in the parliament. I have to go to Bhubaneswar for a day, so I don't take my personal robot with me. I leave it here in the parliament, and my personal robot picks up a fight with your personal robot. And these are actually scenarios that are going to unfold. So we need to anticipate this kind of scenarios, which are almost certain to happen, and then come up with regulatory solutions.
Yes.
Which I'm afraid is not happening today.
So, so if you have a conversation with policymakers, because you are in this position now, so what two key points or two key questions would you advise, or as a step forward in this context, legal framework?
Yes. Well, having said that, we need to have regulatory framework. Let me also acknowledge that Niti Aayog already had a national AI strategy framework way back in 2018. NASSCOM also had a responsible AI report. METI is seized of this matter, and they have formed a subcommittee to develop guidelines and framework for this. In fact, India hosted the Global Partnership for AI in 2023. An Honorable Prime Minister, who is one of the greatest visionary when it comes to technology in the world today, is himself championing this, right? And if we are to realize his vision of a $1 trillion digital economy, which he has been articulating,
Yes.
then I think we have to be a leader in this area, which probably we are not today. I feel that China is way ahead of us in not only the technological aspects of AI, but also in the regulatory and compliance framework aspect. So first and foremost, I would suggest that we need to have a comprehensive legislation. See, the current legal framework or legislative framework that we have is the IT Act of 2000.
Right.
25 years is
Too long
a pretty long time when it comes to technology. Technology is evolving every day. Yes, government is working on this, but I think we need to fast pace it. I think if we could come up with a legislation or a draft bill, if we could see a draft bill maybe in the monsoon session or in the winter session, and then refer it for wider consultations and probably refer it to a joint parliamentary committee, and then get the parliament to pass the bill as soon as possible. That will provide us an umbrella framework under which you can have under which you can address these kind of issues. So that's the first and foremost. Secondly, to be a AI power today, you need three things in my view. One is you need computing power, which we have. We have now the Honorable Minister Ashwini Vaishnav ji has announced that India will be, providing GPUs to startups, to private companies that are willing to innovate in this area. So computing power is a function of how much you are willing to spend. We are you need power, you need energy. I think over the years we will manage that. You need good data sets. And tell me which country in the world has better data sets than India?
Yes.
Other countries are banking and leveraging our data sets, unfortunately. Right. So we need to store, we need to have the data within the country and harness it. And trust me, that will be a game changer. Going forward, in another 5 or 10 years, the kind of data which India has, with the kind of population that we have, 140 crores, 1.4 billion, 2/3 of them under 35. That is 1 billion population under 35. 100 crores Indian citizens are under 35. 70 crore Indian citizens are under 25. So when this youth mass, just imagine the immense human resource potential and the immense data they will generate. So data sets, we are comfortable. What we are probably lacking today is adequate human resource. Okay, we have the best of engineers sitting in Bangalore or Pune or Hyderabad, who are writing codes for global tech players, whether it's Meta or OpenAI or Google. But we need a huge workforce of skilled personnel who understand AI, because it's whether you agree, whether you like it or not, it's going to affect jobs. It's going to revolutionize almost all the industries. So you need a huge workforce that understands AI, that is capable of facing this new challenge, upskilling, reskilling.
Yes.
And I think that's where we need to really ramp up our efforts. Right. So my advice as a policymaker to the government would be to focus on this, computing power, which we are doing. Data sets we already have. Now how to clean up these data sets and leverage the data sets within the country. Now thankfully we have started compelling companies to have their data servers within the country.
Okay.
And thirdly, human resource, skilled human resource. That will be a big USP. So this is probably my my suggestion to the government. But I must sincerely compliment Prime Minister Modi and his team. No other probably world leader today understands technology as he does. So we are in better hands.
Very better hands. Yes. In fact, in the summit, AI summit, Honorable Prime Minister also talked about ethical AI.
Yes.
So that is also something that we need to explore.
Right.
Is so what in your opinion are some of the most pressing legal and ethical dilemmas? So
right.
You have ethics and you have law.
Absolutely.
So in AI, how is the intersection?
Well, it's actually a very thin line. It's a fine balance. Often there is an overlap between morality, ethics, and law. I give the example of the teenage suicide.
Yes.
Such a tragic case of a young life being lost. So it's a legal issue. It's an ethical issue as well. Now, as they say, garbage in, garbage out. An AI output is dependent on the data sets fed into it. The kind of data sets, billions of data fed over a period of time, that actually determines the output. Now you have scenarios where in the US and many AI systems have been sued in court, where there was bias against African American. Okay, because the data that was pulled by the AI systems largely had African American have poor IQ, they are less hardworking, which is so untrue. It's like racism to the core.
Yes.
In India also, like you have caste biases. Imagine you have caste biases, and tomorrow we build a model or a system which pulls data that this particular caste or this particular community is less hardworking or less intelligent. So this kind of biases are there in the model because of the data that is fed into it. So these are issues which are not only legal but also unethical or has moral implications.
Yes.
Data privacy. Now data consent, we have passed the Digital Data Protection Bill.
Yes.
Data consent is a legal necessity, right? Now again we are infringing into the turf of copyright violation, IPR violation. Okay. If I use data sets without proper authorization of the author to design my AI model or to design my AI system, okay, it's a very thin line, whether because you may not be doing what is actually illegal, but is it really correct? Is it really proper? Right? Should you not attribute it to the author, the original author? So these are issues which are very complex. These are issues which are revolving around issues of morality, ethics, and law. This is why we need a comprehensive legislation. We need a framework which will adequately address these issues of legality, of morality, and ethics.
So I'd love to go on and on, but we're running out of time. So I'll combine my last few questions into one.
Sure.
So it's in the context of Viksit Bharat. Yeah. After all, we have a vision, the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Viksit Bharat 2047. So I'll make it twofold. So one is how will AI help us accelerate towards Viksit Bharat 2047, and how do you resolve the maybe not real conflict, but a perceived conflict between regulation and innovation? Because many times, there's this feeling that, there's too much of regulation and that, curbs innovation. So in our vision of Viksit Bharat 2047, where do you see these aspects?
Right. I totally agree with you that we have to maintain a fine balance between regulation and innovation. Over regulation can kill innovation, and under regulation can be harmful to society. This is why we need a legal framework. This is why we need to have robust regulatory frameworks that will adequately maintain that balance between regulation and innovation. We are a startup hub today. We are the country with the third largest startup number of startups in the world. We have many unicorns now, and many of the startups are doing exceptionally great work in the field of AI, in the field of blockchain, machine learning, IoT. So we want to encourage them, right? Because they are the ones, they are our ambassadors. They are the ones who are going to solve the pressing needs of the country.
Right.
And when I salute the vision of the Prime Minister because he's the first leader who gave us this idea of Viksit Bharat by 2047, and actually walked the talk, right? So he gave us a 25 years time frame. Now, how do I understand Viksit Bharat? My understanding of Viksit Bharat is that every class of citizen, every citizen of this country should have access to basic necessities, whether it's healthcare, education, drinking water, connectivity, and so on. Whether it's a tribal woman living in Kalahandi, or whether it's a tribal girl in Meghalaya, or whether it's a city-bred youth of South Delhi, they should all have access to basic facilities. Then only we can say that we are in a Viksit Bharat. Now you need schools, you need hospitals, probably in every panchayat. You need good sporting facilities. You need money for infrastructure. So all of this requires money, right? So that is the second aspect of Viksit Bharat, in my view, that you need to be a robust economy, a economy where you have resources, you have capital to spend on physical infrastructure and on soft infrastructure.
Right.
Thankfully, we are a $4 trillion economy. We are the fifth largest economy now. We are aiming to be a third largest economy, become $5 trillion economy in the next 2-3 years. And hopefully, when we celebrate 100 years of our independence and become a Viksit Bharat, we'll be maybe a 32, 35, 30. We can, depending on the, if we grow at 6.5% to 7%.
Or could be 50 trillion also.
Well, I think 50 trillion is quite ambitious. I would be very, very happy being a proud Indian if we reach 50 trillion. But the more realistic number is somewhere between 25 to 30, 32 trillion, growing at 6.5 to 7%. Now, how AI can help us to reach that destination? Today, you can leverage AI for bringing good content to every classroom in the country. Today, one of the biggest challenges we have in rural India is teacher absenteeism, having poor quality teaching infrastructure. Now, with AI, you can bring the best of content, translate it into vernacular language, again using AI, and offer it to the students. You can use AI to offer primary, secondary, tertiary healthcare to every citizen of India. You don't need physical building, hospitals. You don't need sophisticated, highly qualified specialist doctors. AI can do that. Build a layer upon telemedicine using AI, and you can reach all 140 crore citizens. So, AI is such a powerful tool. If we leverage well, then I think that dream of Viksit Bharat is reality. We are a nation known for our technological prowess. We are a nation known for our innovation. we are the most youthful nation on earth, and guess who use technology more? Youth, right? So everything is in, all the stars are aligned in our favor. I sincerely believe that, if we play our cards well, which we are actually doing now, with the structural changes that the policies of Prime Minister Modi is bringing in the country, with the demographic dividend that we have, and with the technological capacity that we have, I think AI is another tool. Yes, it's the most powerful technological tool, because for the first time in human history, machines have cognitive power now.
Yes.
Machines are increasingly getting cognitive skills and power. So if we leverage this well, I think we will definitely reach the goal of Viksit Bharat.
Thank you very much, Sujeet Kumar, for this wonderful interview, and your book is here on display, and I would encourage every young person definitely to read it. Maybe next time when we talk, maybe after a few years, we'll have AI talking to each other rather than us.
Right. Can I just add?
Yeah, sure.
In fact, the cover design of the book is AI generated.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
And it's also, we have given that disclaimer also, that this is generated by AI.
Oh,
so
wow.
just imagine, where technology is taking us. And I urge all the viewers to actually read the book. It's written in very plain, simple language so that everyone can understand it. And thank you for watching this.
Thank you very much, and see you in the next episode.